Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PSGL Season 26. This is round number 11, and we're at the final 4 rounds. Can't you believe it? It's time flies by when you're having fun. And we go to the Sakir International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix, a circuit which is held since 2004, and it's become a night race ever since the hybrid era, since 2014. So before I introduce my co-commentator, let's have a look at the track. The track is 5.4 kilometers long and it has 15 turns, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. It has 3 DRS zones, 1 at the start finish straight, 1 between turn 3 and 4 and 1 between turn 10 and 11. My name is Jess, one of your commentators here tonight, and joining me as per usual we got Dan.
Hello everyone, and hello Jess. Cannot wait for the Bahrain Grand Prix tonight. It's actually a really fun circuit and a lot of places where these guys can muscle past each other and have some really great battles. And we've seen some great battles in real life F1 as well, of course. Looking back to 2014, the two Mercedes cars had an absolutely tumultuous fray throughout the entire Grand Prix. And then of course in 2015, when the Ferraris were actually good, once upon a time, they fought with the Mercedes, and that was a brilliant race too. So hopefully we can see more of that here tonight, and I'm definitely expecting it with this caliber of grid.
Yeah, and for the drivers here tonight, they've been practicing the drives, and obviously it's we're in the desert, so we're not going to expect any rain tonight. And if you missed last week's race, we had Tomato that won from 15th on the grid to win the race, and he would have won without the safety car anyway, but the safety car did help him quite a bit. Then Greeny got a podium with Dario in 3rd, Pat Schneider in 4th, getting his 2nd best result of the season. And we have CC, Brain, Lakitu, Amotti, Bugatti, Big C and Name Changer rounding up the top 10. What does that do with the standings? Well, Tomato leads. Greeny LFC actually pushes Faz off of 2nd spot after his podium last week. Then we have Faz in 3rd place, then it's Dario, then it's Will, Lakitu, CC Brain, Hadler, then Schneider, Pat Schneider, then we have Big C, Name Changer, Emotti, Skivan, Bugatti, Compassion on 7 points, and we got Benny on 5 points, and Chapalili, the reserve, on 2 points, and everybody else is either on 2 points, 1 point, or yet to score. So without further ado, let's go straight to qualifying.
Well, of course, it's a brilliant circuit around here, and they're all just beginning up their laps. I believe the next person to actually, the first person to actually cross the line will be Iamotti in the Williams car, and then there's a Alfa Romeo car behind him of Darius. So 200k teammates just going to follow along through each other. 25.0 is going to be the time to beat, and Dario automatically goes ahead with a 24.8, and I think, Jess, that we are going to see much quicker times than that by the end of the session. Maybe low 24s is what I'm going to call.
For those of you that remember to watch the F1 esports last week, it was incredible. It was separated by the tightest of margins, so I'm expecting we could see tighter margins today. Not close to what we see in F1 esports, but still, it's going to be separated by not even a second, I can tell you that as well. We're riding on board with Tomato, our championship leader, who's looking to carry on his top form. Well, he's really got to stay there, really. Otherwise, he's going to be in danger with losing out in the championship. It's so close, about 20 points worth. And if Tomato gets basically some wins or some podiums towards the end of the season, then he's absolutely going to set the field alight and have basically be impossible to beat. But here he goes then, and I think Tomato's run out of fuel. So I'm guessing he's probably going to go into the pits now. Nope, he's not. He's going into the pits. So he's going to be on low fuel mode, and he's on pole position. 124.5, so getting close to the 123s, but not quite yet. What about his championship rival Faz? He's going through sector 3 now into the 103s in sector 3. Not quite sure what his split time was overall, as he's using plenty of ERS. Looking really, really good coming up towards the final corner. Not using his ERS though. He wasn't happy with that lap. That puts him into P14.
Yeah, you can see he backed off right at the end of that run there, so he is going to probably try and go again. Might come into the pit lane, or he might do another lap, but I wouldn't expect him to be pushing too hard since he backed off on the straight. But it looks like he's going for it here, but only time will tell if he really is pushing at the moment, and he has just knocked it into none. So yeah, he's not going to go for a push lap here, but even though Tomato is on the top of qualifying right now, he actually didn't have a plain sailing week last time out. He was involved in the steward's office after the race when fans reported him for a collision on the under the formation lap, and it actually got him a penalty point. So if he gets too many of those, he's going to have to serve a qualifying ban or a race ban. And if he gets too many, then, he's going to get completely banned from the league. But I wouldn't think Tomato is going to get banned. We all love him too much, really.
Yeah, that's just one simple mistake, really, in the formation lap. Sometimes you cause contact in the formation lap, and the drivers have been told to keep an eye on that, and that's what Faz had done. And Tomato was let off lightly, I think, so he's not going to be happy that he got the penalty point, but he's going to be relieved that he's not lost out on the win, so it's not going to hurt him too much, and I don't think he's going to get any more, and it lasts for a whole season, so the points get reset after that. So Tomato, as long as he keeps it clean for the majority of it, he should be absolutely fine as well. And it's been relatively clean so far in F2, not many people getting penalty points, but there was a few races, I believe. I think it was Belgium and also Vietnam as well, and quite other few races. But apart from that, I think it's been one of the cleanest tiers I've ever seen, and probably one of the closest so far. It's gone, and it is up to P4 in the qualifying session right now. I'm not going to talk much about him, because last time I talked good about him in Japan, he was running so well, and he got caught up in some incidents towards the end due to the safety car, and that demoted him a lot of penalties. And what could have been for Golonen? Is this week going to be his week, Dan?
I really do hope it is for Golonen. He really does deserve it. He works so hard at the moment to get his results, and he does really well in qualifying. That puts him in a great position for the races, and even so, at the moment, he's not a million miles off the championship leader in terms of time. And when you consider that they're complete polar opposite of the championship, he's doing really well for himself. Someone else is also doing really well. It's Chapelele. He's third in qualifying at the moment. He was on pole last week, of course, but he continues to impress in qualifying. This is a pad circuit, so I would expect him to do well, because I know that Chapelele is on the pad, but he might have actually changed over to wheel, and we've got someone else just crossed the line. I don't know who that was. I think it was Name Changer going 6th fastest.
Yeah, it was Name Changer. Then we have another Red Bull across the line. I think that was Golonen as well. But yeah, Chapelele, one of those examples like Name Changer, who's done really well in qualifying, but hasn't capitalised that much in the race. But with the DRS change, most likely going to happen around this circuit. If Chapelele gets a good qualifying, it's going to be the best of both worlds for him, really. As long as he keeps ahead of these guys and tries defending, they should be absolutely fine. Watch out for turn 4 here tonight. We can see overtakes there, and obviously a heavy braking zone of turns 10 and 11. I find it hard. I think one of the hardest braking zones on the game. If you get that wrong, then the people behind are going to get a good run on you, DRS, and they're going to swoop past you in turn 11 and 12. Obviously, Chapelele is in third right now. Greeny is in second with 400 of a second behind Tomato. Interesting story about Greeny, actually. Greeny bottled the win last season, in season 25, due to him bottling in the pit lane and hitting ski van. Let's hope we don't see a repeat of that tonight, Greeny, because he's on a good streak right now in terms of getting some points.
Yeah, well, I did say in the Twitter chat that if you didn't mention it, I would, but it seems like you beat me to it. He is on a really nice run at the moment. He's actually quicker than Tomato on this lap. Coming through the final corner, a bit of a lock-up through there, and a bit of a slide on, and the commentator's curse really does come into full effect there, because he oversteers out the final corner. He gets too early on the traction, and that completely bottlenecks his lap. He lost all the time that he had gained, and unfortunately he's going to have to come into the pit lane, and he's going to go for another run. We've only got 8 minutes left in this qualifying session, and we've seen most drivers put in a lap except for Skivan, who I've noticed doesn't actually like doing qualifying all that much.
Yeah, he likes to go for the alternate strategy. The alternate strategy's worked really well in this game, and for those of you that did watch F1 Esports, that's how one of the PSGL veterans, Jana Otmir, actually won the first race of the season. So I wonder if Skivan's going to go in the same way as Jana Otmir did last week. I won't be surprised if he does that, actually. The F1 Esports guy, they have free tyre choice. These guys don't, because there's going to be no rain. So everybody's going to be going on the soft tyre. I do remember last season, there's really hard options for you to choose from. Soft to hard wasn't very viable back then, whereas on this game, you can do soft to hard and make it work. But we could see quite a few people try actually one person tried a memes to hard strategy, and that will probably be the likes of Skivan in last place. But soft to hard is going to be the likely strategy today, as I popped up on the strategy image earlier on in the stream. So that should be very, very interesting. But if you want the soft, don't touch the mediums at all unless there is a safety car. And ERS is going to play an important factor as well.
Yeah, around this circuit, really, you're going to want to qualify in around about 11th position, 12th to get that free choice of tires, because you're going to be so much quicker than everyone else. And really, it's actually better to start last than in 10th. And at the moment, Will is in that death zone. And never mind, Bugatti is in that death zone, because everyone seemingly is crossing the line, finishing up some runs. And we are going to see, I believe, Iamotti just start a lap. But I'm trying to find if anyone is at the end of a lap. Havard's definitely not pushing this one. He's 15 seconds down. Will not pushing it. No one seems to really be pushing at the moment.
I'm guessing
Nikitu's on a lap. He's 3/10 up.
Yeah, Nikitu has had a really good run as of late, actually, so far. Again, scoring consistent points in the season so far. He got 6th place last week. He would have wanted a podium, but Bahrain, he loves this track. And he's, speaking of him, he's 6th at the moment in qualifying. So that was a good lead up to him as well. And obviously, in the constructors' stand, there's a big battle between Williams and Renault at the moment. And I got to say, Nikitu's probably going to be out of the drivers, but he's going to want to get that constructors' title along with Faz. It is still possible with 4 rounds to go, and Faz and Nikitu have to score consistently every week in order to beat the almighty Williams. Don't forget, Rafa won the first lot of races this season before he left the league, and then we've had different race winners after that. So, and Rafa was in the Williams, so you know, maybe this could be an advantage that Faz also scores points, but Faz can't afford a race like he did last week, where he scored less points compared to his teammate. I'm liking this teammate battle between Nikitu and Faz this season. It's just great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is brilliant to see two teammates competitively going up against each other. And where'd that come from? Iamotti.
Wow.
Locking out the front row for the Williams team. 24.5, a brilliant time from him there. And we've got some more drivers on laps. I believe there's an AlphaTauri of PR1 Will, who seems to be on a push lap at the moment. I didn't quite see his sector times, but just coming through the final corner now. He's not going to make the same mistake that Greeny made, and he's actually going to get a really nice run through there. And what's he going to do as he crosses the line? He's going to go 8th fastest, respectable time for Will, after he lost ground in the championship against Dario. He actually got jumped in the point last week after he didn't score, so he's going to want a bit of redemption for that and maybe try and get right back past his rival. And I believe he's now run out of fuel because yellow flags have popped up, so it's going to be a long crawl back to the pits for Will, and I don't think he's going to get to put in another time.
That is dangerous, I think, for Will, and he's got to move out the way as well, and that is really, really sad. You've got to really judge your fuel loads when you actually do your qualifying lap. I would understand if you would run low fuel at the end of your qualifying run because you won't have any fuel left, but try and do the second mode to the right, technically, when you change the fuel kilograms, and that you should be absolutely fine. So don't do it the lowest you can do it. Do it at the second lowest, and you should get your runs in. And Will has not done that at all. Dario has gone to the pits, though, as he's going to do one final lap pretty soon. I think Motti and Name Changer are going to do the same. Luke and Compassion are out again. It's great to see the two McLaren boys, Luke and Cedric, back in the McLaren cars once again. Chapalini's not in the McLaren anymore. He's moved to a different car. But this time, both of the McLaren boys are going to be going up against the person who reserved for him in the last few races. So this should be interesting. And I believe Luke is the only driver still to not get a point.
Yeah, Luke, unfortunately, he hasn't been able to crack the top 10. So he's going to hope that he can do it this week. Of course, he wasn't here for a couple of races. He had a broken wheel, but he is back. And he unfortunately hasn't been able to score any points. And I just want to mention that whilst we're in kind of this slow period where no one's really on a lap, I think it's best we talk about the new patch that came out today. We've got some big fixes actually coming out. Now drivers can rejoin without getting the warning glitch. And oh dear, my controller's just died, so I might get a bit of game sound from there. I don't know why it has disconnected. Sorry about that one. It's all right. It was full charge, but no, apparently not. It's just going to switch off But I don't think that they've actually implemented the rule for tonight, because I checked the modification channel for the rules in Discord, and I don't think that they've implemented the rule. So hopefully no drivers try and take advantage of that today and get themselves disqualified when they didn't mean to.
There was actually something that came out in the stewards' communications earlier on today. It was around about 2:30, about the corner cutting glitch fix. Because they haven't tested this fix yet, if they want to try and test it out, and if they get a warning, they will be requested to send the video to the stewards. If it proves that they do get a warning after they've rejoined the session, their warning will get removed and they won't get disqualified. If, however, they don't get a warning after they rejoin, then they'll be disqualified, and they either have to DC again and leave the session, or risk being disqualified if they carry on into the session. So I hope these guys do not try it out today. Maybe try it out in a test session, but just don't try it out here. So yeah, that is what's happening here today. So we'll keep an eye on that, but no disconnections at the moment. So I think we should be okay.
Yes, it seems like everyone's actually got pretty good connection tonight. I haven't seen anyone disconnect at all, when normally we're going to see a lot of guys actually losing connection and just leaving the session out of nowhere. And it's really bad to see, because no one wants to see a disconnect, do they?
Nope, no one does, and I had the unfortunate experience last week, but the thing I tried last week, I'm not trying this week, because that was the cause of the internet issues. But Dario is about to start his fly lap as well. We got the 2 Haas cars, we got the Racing Point, we got the 2 Williams, and we got the Mercedes and the Haas car going on their final laps as well, with 30 seconds left to go. Will is on an out lap as well. Oh, it's going to be so close for Will to actually make it in time. He's just gone for the first part of set to 3. He's got to go even faster than that if he wants to get through on time to complete his final lap. I think he's going to do it just in the link of time. Will, that's a bit too close for comfort there. He ran out a few earlier, don't forget, but he's just made it to do one final lap.
Well, I'm sure he's going to be brushing his brow of any sweat that has come up, and the name changer also cut it really fine in 2 seconds. But now they are finishing up on laps. Big C was the first one. He's not going to start inside the top 10, so he'll get that nice alternate strategy. Cedric going to 6th position there. I don't know if he improved enough to jump up any positions. It looks like Pat Schneider's not going to put in a lap here, but we've got that is Hadler next cross line. He is a little bit down on his sector 2 time, but he could have made it up to the final sector, and he is going to improve, but it's only 14th place for him.
Yeah, we got more drivers about to finish their laps as well. We got Dario, one of the Alfa Romeos, in 1st place at the moment. Shapalili, wow, what 10,000 slower than Dario. That was just insane. Him also can't improve. We got one of the Mercedes of Bugatti crossing the line. He can only manage 9th fastest. Next to come across the line is the other one of the Haas cars. I don't think he can improve either. So it's just really name change, because Greeny is going very slow because he's run out of fuel. We also got Will as well, don't forget, the last people to come across the line. And we got Faz just behind Will, actually. So let's follow Will first, and then we'll go to Faz. So Will, don't forget, has won a few races this season, was champion a long time ago. He can only manage 11th. Faz cannot improve on his time. And that just leaves name changer, and he can't improve. Oh, name changer's invalidated. I don't know where, but that was very, very sad. So that means Dario is on pole. I think that's his... Actually, no, he's got pole before, I think. But that is a really incredible lap. And just look at the gap between 1st and 19th. 5/10, nearly 6/10 per second. That's just insane.
I don't know how they do it. And then the top 6 actually separated by just a little bit over a 10th. That's 6 cars. It's separated by a 10th. I honestly don't know how they can get so close, but IGK, the team, doing really well there, and so are the Shazoo boys doing good there. They locked out the 3rd row of the grid, but Dario starting on pole. Chapelele with another impressive qualifying session. He was just 100th off. That was probably just a fraction quicker through one corner, and he would have been on pole, but that is just how things are. And he was so close, but I think he's going to be in a good position. And if I'm not mistaken, those 2 were actually the first 2 on the grid last week as well.
I think so. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to double check that. But the top 4 is separated not even by a tenth, about by 600ths of a second. That reminds me of Bahrain in a way, where in esports, where most of them were quite close, not even a tenth. But that was the top 7, not the top 4. But we'll cope with the top 4 being close, I've got to say. And just look at the gap between Name Changer and Tamaya. That's going to be intense as well. The 2 Shazoo boys as well. So I wonder how that's going to turn out. So let's run through your orders. We got Dario this time on par with Shapalili in second. We got Amotti in third, Greeny in fourth, Name Changer fifth, and Tomato. Cedric getting a good qualifying in seventh. Then we got Pat in eighth, Bugatti in ninth, Lakitu rounds up your top 10. Then we got Will, Godden and Benny, CC Brain, Hadler, Big C, Faz, Luke, Compassion in 19th. The last person to set a time, and Ski Van not choosing to set a lap time in last place, and he's probably going to go for the alternate strategy. Don't forget the top 10 will be qualifying on the soft compounded tyres. We'll be going for the soft to hard strategy, as you can see, pitting around about lap 7 and 8, whereas the ski van and people outside the top 10 more than likely going to try to do something different going into this race, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's probably going to be Will in the best position for this race, starting 11th. He will get that free choice of tyres. He's going to be right behind all of the soft guys. So if he could just keep up with them, he could be in a prime position to make some key moves later on in the Grand Prix. And imagine he's probably going to start on the hard tyres, go for mediums later on. But, you know, you don't really lose too much on the hards, actually. So even when it's older, you're not going to lose too much time. But it is up to him. They know a lot more than you and me know about Formula One. They probably know all the ins and outs of the car and how to make perfect strategies. And we're just not that, are we?
Yeah, that is why I'm not racing in PSGL this season. That's why I'm in the commentary box alongside you, Dan, for F2. And if I was to race in a league race, I would be in the bottom tier like I am with every league. So, yeah, so that's some things that commentators have in common, I've got to say, in PSGL. If we do go in league racing, we end up in the bottom because we do better in commentary, obviously. But anyway, let's go into the formation lap. And someone has just pointed out something that they probably have fixed as well. Not on the patch. Well, I'm not going to say it on stream, because if I do say it on stream, I'm worried I'm going to jinx it. So, Alimonda, Mark, for your sake, I hope it's fixed. Please. But anyway, top 10 are on the soft, but we've got Gonanen, Benny on the mediums, as well as Luke and Shapalili. Wait, what? Shapalili in 20th? That can't be right? Did he get a grid penalty? Wait, I'm confused. Did it say that he's P20 on your screen?
Yeah, what is this?
I don't understand. I really don't understand. Did he get? You may have saw this, guys, in the chat about the grid penalty. I don't know. If it's another glitch, I don't know. We might have to have a restart, because it's unfair for Shapalili to start all the way down in last, where he should be qualifying in P2. So, well, I won't be surprised if we do have to restart this lobby. But I think that's one glitch that we have uncovered here tonight. Someone that was meant to be starting second has started last. Oh, God.
Shapalili is calling for a restart in the Twitter chat. So it definitely is a glitch.
It is a glitch. Oh, Cody's. What? Cody's!
They can't... They make a bunch of fixes, and then I'm going to message Greeny on PlayStation, because he might be checking his phone.
Yeah, and he may not know that Shapalili's in last, because Greeny's in third place at the moment, so... I
am just going to let him know, because that is not fair.
That is not fair. We're not biased at all. We don't want anyone starting not where they're starting, to be honest, so we're going to wait and see. Well, I'm going to commentate the start anyway and see what happens, but... if we do have to restart, then we do have to restart. But hopefully it doesn't happen in the other tiers, though. Yeah. But at least we get to find out if the timing are fixed as well. And hopefully now... but one other thing, we can't see the deltas at the moment. So that's a bit worrying. But whilst Dan messages Greeny and CC Brain, the league admins, of course. We've got the 5 red lights on your screen at the moment. Dario on the right, and we've got Emoti on the left this time. 2 of the IGK boys, 1 and 2 on the grid. And it is lights out, and away we go. Dario got a really good start from Emoti. And look at Greeny as well on the left-hand side of your screen, going for the move towards turn 1. He's going to potentially get the lead. It's going to be 3 abreast into turn 1. This is absolutely insane. I think everyone has made it clean so far. There may be a bit of trouble at the back. Yeah, there's quite a few contact. Greeny is all the way down into last, so he made a little bit of contact there with someone, or he might have spun it, that's for sure. But yeah, Emoti is now in your race leader, got the move past Dario into turn 4, and Tomato in P3, and it looks like I think we're carrying on, aren't we? As we got someone trying to make for a move, as Pat tries to get a move past Cedric, couldn't quite make it work. He stays in 6th place.
Yeah, well, Greeny is all the way down in last. That might mean it could prompt him to check his phone or his PlayStation messages. We've got some more battles going on further behind between CC Brain and that is a half car of Hadler. Now coming up towards the end of the DRS straight, of course, no DRS for the first couple. There's a little bit of wheel banging between the two of them. No love lost though, as now they climb up the hill and through the fast right-hander, and it looks like CC Brain has got that position well worked, and there's more battles going on further up ahead, but Will's trying to hold it around down the inside of Hadler, so he's beginning to drop like a stone throughout the grid here, but CC Brain taking full advantage of his hard tyres, already pretty much being at the same level to softs that just completely die out at the beginning of the race, and meanwhile there's more drama going up ahead, because I think the key to just, never mind, they haven't fixed the desync glitch.
Yeah, it's not the timing glitch, but it is gone and... it is, isn't it? Actually, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sure if it's a timing glitch or not. We'll have to find out in, I think, a lap's time, as they all try and make their way past turn 4. And I think, unfortunately, Alamonda... in response, has Cody's fixed the timing glitch? The answer is no. Unfortunately. Unfortunately.
They really don't help themselves. They can fix whatever glitches they want, but there's just going to keep being some more that come up all the time. So, yeah, cheers for that one, Codemasters. Really do appreciate that one.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some DRS. I don't think we are going to see some DRS trains pretty soon as well. And due to the fact that pretty much, I would say from I can't even tell what the gap is now because the timings keep changing everywhere. But at least we were able to see the start of the race. So that was better than nothing. But look at the gap that Emoti is pulling away to Dalia at the moment. 1.1 seconds behind right now. So Emoti's going to love him being ahead at the moment, but Dario is definitely going to be under pressure from the likes of Tomato, Name Changer, Cedric and Pat, who are all going to be in that DRS train right now as we do get past the detection zone. This is the real lap 3, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see some battles start to emerge. I think the closest battle we can see is definitely Name Changer on Tomato, but due to the fact that they're all stuck in DRS, it's going to be hard for these guys to overtake at this stage. I'm seeing if there's any more up front. Pat almost got the moves there into turn 4, 5, but unfortunately he has to stay behind. He's getting a good run though, so he could get the move into turn 10 in the next DRS zone.
Yeah, but he's just trying to stick behind Cedric. Doesn't want to make a move through this quick S's section, but now coming up to turns number 9 and number 10, of course, we've got Name Changer right onto the back of Tomato here. 0.3 is the gap between these two, but again, the DRS is going to help Tomato here, and now going down the straight, he actually gets a pretty worse off run. Does Name Changer coming out of the corner just by a little bit. That doesn't allow him to get by, and they're all just kind of beginning to stick behind each other a little bit. And this is, of course, the trap that is known as the DRS train. No one can really make a move, but they're finding a way back behind because Big C manages to get past, that is Faz. They're, of course, at the back of the train. I think Benny's had a little bit of a spin there across the curb, it seems. He's hit the inside wall and he's got a little bit of wing damage. I don't think we're going to need a virtual safety car or safety car for anything like that. It's just a little bit of end plate, but really unfortunate for Benny. He's not had the best of luck this season, and that is not going to help his cause. The Tomato going to go by Dario here, coming up towards turn number 1. Will Dario try and fight this back up the inside? It doesn't seem like it. He locks up a little bit, goes into the back of him. There's Name Changer going up the inside, and it's all kicking off at the end of turn number 1.
Yeah, we're starting to see battle after battle after battle as they got a good run into the first DRS straight and right into the second pack. Consensus chance, but he got kept past. Dario is all the way down into 4th place now. Not the start he would have wanted. Tomato is going to look to catch up to Multi now for the race lead, but he's got loads of cars chasing him down, which is going to make him a little bit of a tough task. You can see on the right-hand side of your screen, the ERS is starting to come down the more that they are in these fights. We've got a fight from, I think, P2 up down to P12. We've got an on the mediums, not doing too badly at the moment, but he's a little bit far behind Bugatti, so he's going to be out of DRS really soon, which could be a danger to him with Lakitu on fresher tyres on the softs, of course. So Gonanen, I think, just needs to get his head into gear, doing the same strategy as the likes of Faz and, well, no, Faz pitted earlier on due to damage as well as Breedy, but the same strategy as Luke. Skivan is opting for the hard, so he's doing hards to soft. I wonder if the hards are getting a little bit more trickier at the start of the race, because you don't have much time to warm up your tyres.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to generate heat into those hard tyres, but they do work a little bit better in cooler conditions, and all that fighting actually allowed for Cedric to catch up to Dario a little bit. He seems to be struggling at the moment. He can't really find his way back up to the rear of the Shazoo drivers of Name Changer and Tomato, but Name Changer could have a nice run on Tomato here, but I just don't think he's close enough, really. He needs to be about 2 tenths behind if you realistically want to challenge. Someone who is 2 tenths behind is Vakita, but even he can't get close enough to Gonanen into the braking zone. So again, they are all just getting into the DRS train. It really does beg the question, what would F1 be like without DRS, of course, being the game? Because you can't make an overtake if someone else has DRS in front of you.
Yeah, and that just goes to show what life is like without DRS. I can't remember when was the... I think I'm trying to remember when was the first race with DRS. I'll get back to you on that one, and I'll tell you next week when we go to the next track, which I'll need to double check what the next track is.
It's
Canada. That's it, Canada. I literally just had it on my spreadsheet as well. It's at the same time you said it. But yeah, I will get back to you on that one. Do a bit of research. Tell you next week when the first race was with DRS, or maybe the F1 commentators could tell you. Maybe they can find out for us and they can tell us, and then we will tell you next week. So maybe they can tell us and find out a bit more information. But I'll still find out anyway, and just in case they don't. So, but anyway, we're on lap 6 now. We're still seeing Name Changer trying to make the move past Tomato. He's got it before turn 1. We could see one of the McLaren cars trying to go for a move as well. Name Changer up to P2, making a name for himself so far. He's got to keep his consistency, though, in this race so far. Hasn't had that much good results as of yet, but this could be the turning point for Name Changer in second place. Tomato, though, he is on the hunt for Name Changer. It's not over yet. Dario needs to get a move on, though. Dario's got to let his negative mindset go away and concentrate on the rest of the race now. He was started on pole, and he's all the way down in 4th place. He's got a lot of work to do, and I think he's going to hope that other people around him have got penalties.
Yeah, there's not too many places where drivers can actually go off and get a warning around here, but it is certainly possible for them to do so, but it might not help him too much if he might have one himself. I'm not too sure I've even seen a penalty pop up at the moment, but all the squabbling that the drivers have done have allowed for Iamotti just to run away with the race. He's now 2.6 seconds clear. He's able to just save his tyres and relax a little bit now. Maybe let Nature get just a little bit closer whilst he conserves and then starts to push again. But of course, we've got yellow flags, and I believe that's Compassion out of the race.
Ooh.
Where's he lost that?
Let me go on board with Benny. Oh my goodness, that was turn 8 or 9? No, turn 8. That was awful. That is a weird place to be in it, I've got to say. But yeah, he's now in last place and out of the race, and that's a VSC. Now, I think since it was off the circuit, I think that's why there's no safety car and just a VSC instead. But yeah, that was a bit unfortunate, but quite a lot of people have pitted due to the pit window. A lot of people going for the undercut. So Motti is pitted, Name Changer's pitted, Cedric, Pat, Bugatti, Lakitu, Will, Dario, and Shapalili. That was good timing for them. The safety car is still out, so that has worked wonders for them. I just need to remember when the pit window is. Lap 7 to 8. So, and the undercut being a lap earlier. So, yeah, definitely the right time for these guys to pit. They're going to be a huge advantage compared to their rivals. And there you go. Safety car is, obviously has ended and DRS back enabled again.
Yeah, and one thing that has happened here is that Tomato wasn't actually able to come into the pit lane. And that's because his teammate, Iamotti, has priority because he was the first driver to come in. But I don't know if anyone has jumped each other. Definitely Iamotti's at a much better kind of pit time than Name Changer, because now he's 3 seconds clear. Those hard tyres can definitely go to the end. I did it on Thursday from about lap number 5. Granted, I'm a lot slower than these guys, so they might take a little bit more out of the tyres than I did. But all of the guys who were on mediums or softs really did get a gift there, because they could have come in and fitted the hard tyres that can go to the end. But of course, if you were already on the hard tyres doing the hard to mediums, you're not going to be able to come into the hards because you have to use 2 compounds of tyres, do not forget.
Yeah, 2 compound tyres, of course, and I do believe they only have 1 set of hards for the race. So that is a bit, if you can't use the hards again if you get damage, if you're already on the hards for the race, that's it. You have to go on a different tyre compound. So a few of these guys will have to pit again, whereas some of these guys can stay for the entirety of the race. As Tomato has stayed out, I thought he would have gone into the pits at the end of lap 7, at the start of the pit window, but obviously he is not. He's got the pit window flashing, well, not flashing, but in kind of like a turquoisey colour, and that means that the pit window is open for you and you can go in and pit. Meanwhile, Cedric has got past Bugatti up into 11th place, so Cedric making up for lost time. I do believe he's in that P5, I think. No, P4, unless Tomato I think Tomato might come ahead of him, I don't know. But Tomato may look losing a lot of time due to the fact that, obviously, the VSC, you lose less time in the pit loss compared to a non-VSC or a non-safety car. So, you never know. But Cedric is in a good position. Pat is in a good position. And so the ones that have just pitted. Faz is down, I think, in 17th place. But I think he's still going to salvage a good result for this. But here comes Tomato into the pit lane. The final of the soft runners to make the jumps to the hards. But at least we know that the hards are going to be fresh at the end. And he's going to be able to push just a little bit more. He doesn't have to save on his tyres towards the end. And that can make up for some really great battling.
Yeah, at the moment he's actually getting a wing change. So,
oh, where did he get damaged then?
I have no clue, but he's definitely got that wing change. And look at how far he's dropping down the order. He's behind Chapelele, who was in about 12th position, maybe. And he's way off of Dario and the likes that he was ahead of before the pit window. And I think Dario's also lost a lot of time here because he wasn't behind Will or Nikita or Bugatti for that matter. So he might have had some sort of trouble in the pit lane as well. But anyways, moving on through here, it looks like Iamotti's caught a little bit of traffic in the name of Big C, of course, the 7-time F1 champion. He won the game. He won PSGL F1 for about 3 game cycles straight, I want to say. But now he's under pressure from Iamotti. He's got DRS on Ski Van up ahead, of course, yet to pit. So he's going to have to come into the pit lane and probably set the medium tyres to go right to the end. I would say he's going to come in around about lap 17 is what I would think he should do.
Yeah.
But that is just a guess off the top of my head. But for now, it's not really worth him fighting Iamotti. So on the straight, I would imagine that Big C is going to let him by a little bit. And I think Iamotti's ghosted. Don't tell me he's lost connection.
Oh, no. Hopefully he has not. And hopefully it's no desync. Oh, no. Oh, he's back, I think. Is he back? No, but he's not. So, can someone that's watching Iamotti's... Well, if anyone is a friend of Iamotti and know what's happening, because someone let me know if they DC'd. He might have DC'd and we weren't paying attention because there were so many other battles, but I think Iamotti is playing it safe. He's not rejoining the session, even though you are allowed, but he doesn't want to risk getting disqualified. So, yeah, I think that's his race over. That is a shame if that happens. And there we go. There comes Name Changer comfortably past the Williams driver. That is really, really sad for him. He was running a good race. Could have been a good chance for Williams to extend their lead in the championship even more, but I think they have to rely on Tomato a lot more. He's back. That's weird because the things don't pop up if they disconnect or join. So that might be a new feature in the game that we can't see if they DC or join. We don't know. Or it might just be a desync issue. We don't know. That just makes it harder to tell, which is a bit annoying. But anyway.
Yeah, well, one thing it's done is it's completely wiped my intervals. So that really isn't appreciated. But of course, no controlling it. But might have had a disconnection with his controller or a wheel. I'm not too sure what he uses.
That might be it. That might be it then.
I was on board with Pat, and it did show up with an X on his name instead of AI mode. So I'm quite confused about it all. But all I know at the moment is that now name changer with the net lead of the Grand Prix. He's not had the worst season of anyone, but he's not had the best season, to say the least. And now he's in a really precarious position where he could take the win here. And now Pat going up the inside of Iamotti. He's going to try and fight him around the outside. He's going to hold him for turn number 2 and turn number 3 as well, as they're going to run side by side here. Now taking to the straight, it looks like Iamotti's got DRS, Pat does not, so now trying to hold him around the outside. Cedric could get involved in the action here as well, but Iamotti going to defend well there. He's going to maintain the position, and Cedric could maybe take a little piece of that cake as well.
I think by the looks of things, it was Iamotti that, I think it was his controller or his wheel that disconnected, because otherwise it would have popped up on my screen if they DC'd. So, yes, so that is why, because otherwise he wouldn't have rejoined like that. So, yeah. So he hasn't rejoined. Well, he was still in the session. His controller just died by the looks of things. But I'm sure Iamotti can confirm that at the end of the stream what happened, so we get a bit of an understanding. But he's not going to be too happy about those issues. But I don't know if he's racing on a pad or a controller, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm liking this battle between those 4 at the moment. It was almost going to be 3 abreast as well into turn 4. But I think Cedric had to stay behind. We got Lakito on this as well. Right on the back of this as well. He could really start to pull up a fight here as well on the hard compounded tyres as well. Cedric not having the best of seasons either, but is looking to fire back with all his work. This could be his best result of the season if he keeps it up. The Karen boy's not doing too well, so Cedric can respond to the critics, I've got to say. But we're starting to see some more battles emerge. We've got Pat trying to make a move on Iamotti once again, but Iamotti closes the door. We can see Pat almost had a better run. Can Pat do the switchback? Nope, he cannot. We've got Bugatti and Cedric potentially going for a move. And Lakito. Lakito's a bit too further back to get the jump. So I think it just relies on Iamotti and Pat, but they can't make the move done either. So not much moves happening at this later stage of the Grand Prix. We're just away towards the last third of the race. This can get even more exciting. Bahrain is just a great spectacle, and I kind of just wish it's one of the final races of the season except Abu Dhabi, but there we go.
Yeah, well, Bahrain always does provide good racing, but yeah, they've done really well so far. We've only had one incident in Compassion, probably losing it on his own. Didn't look like he was near anyone in circuit, but it did bring on the VSC. Kind of was a little bit of a saving grace for the soft runners because it came out at the perfect time to their pit window. But now, just coming through lap number 12, doesn't seem like anyone's too close to make a move. Pat's actually lost quite a bit of time to Iamotti. That could leave him at the mercy of Bugatti, which put him in a net P3 once all of the other drivers come into the pit lane. Speaking of other drivers, Gonanen, the race leader, now pulls into the pit lane, and so does Luke. So it looks like the medium tyres are completely done here. And yeah, it's just popped up on my screen when I went on board with Luke that is time for his pit window. So going to go on to the hards and run to the end. We'll see where these two emerge. Gonanen on the on exit of the pit lane just around about now, and he's going to come out seemingly at the back of the train by quite some distance, and he's actually going to get jumped by Chapelele as well. Did Chapelele lose a lot of time? Because I think he was in a good position before, but
he was 12th, I think, before he pitted, I think, wasn't he? I don't know.
Because he was further up the grid. I definitely remember him being further up.
Don't forget, there was a glitch where he started in last place, where he was meant to be second. So that's probably it. But we don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest, what's going on with Chapelele at the moment. But Chapelele is still going. I'm pleased to tell you. So he's still racing. If I was him and if I was starting in last place, I would have been like, no, I'm not racing. The game's put me in last place, but I'm guessing he's still going to get some points out of this if people start to make a mistake. Dario's lost a chunk of time as well with and so has Will. So The net race leader is a name changer in first, Imotti second, Pat in third, Bugatti fourth, Cedric fifth, and Lakitu in sixth place. Lakitu likes his sixth place, doesn't he? He got a sixth place in last week. He could get a sixth place this week as well.
I'm sure he'd want just a little bit more than that. It seemed like Pat, this car moment in time, was beginning to struggle a little bit. He managed to just sneak into the DRS of Imotti up ahead of him. Looks like Imotti is actually beginning to reel name change it in a little bit, and then Lakitu gone for the move. And Cedric's going to fight him back, force him off the circuit. They're going to run side by side here. Both of them going to get DRS on the cars ahead. They're neck and neck. No time in it between them to the nearest 300th of a second. And it's going to be Lakitu on the inside. Cedric tried to turn the door just a little bit too much, and now Cedric getting forced off the circuit a little bit there. He actually got a 3-second time penalty for that one. And meanwhile, Name Changer puts a car in between him and Imotti, which is going to be crucial for his race.
Yeah, traffic, getting past traffic around Bahrain is crucial due to the DRS train. So if you find it hard to get past them, if they're on a different strategy, then kiss your victory or podium goodbye. Name Changer did a very good job doing that. Next is Skivan, and Skivan and Name Changer, well, Skivan and Name Changer used to be battling towards the back of the grid at the best of times, but now Name Changer is going to be battling for Skivan, who hasn't pitted yet, and neither has Hadler. So, but don't forget, the top three won't be pitting to around about lap 17, so they'll be going on for a bit longer, and we'll be going on to the soft compound, the tyres jumping in to outside the top 10 just a little bit. So I don't think the alternate strategy is going to work the way that we would have hoped, but it does depend on the pace, of course. Name Changer around 9/10 behind. I'm seeing if we're seeing any more battles up towards the back. We got Will getting a good run on Cedric, actually, going towards turn 1, but I think Cedric is going to... Oh, he's left the door open, Cedric. They almost touched, but Will's going to try and go for it anyway. Cedric getting the better run, but Will's going to go to the right-hand side here. Will is the one who gets DRS then, heading into turn number 4. Is Will going to go defend, attack to the right-hand side? Cedric's going to go on the attack, then still running side by side, going into turn 5 and into turn 6, and that was a bit of a touch there from Will, and that has lost his chance for getting a place off Cedric. That was very unlucky. That was good racing up until that point.
Yeah, that corner really is a single file, one car only, and unfortunately for Will, he came off a lot worse. I'd assume it's just going to be a racing incident, because sometimes contact like that is just unavoidable, but maybe Cedric, knowing that Will was beside him, could have left a little bit more room. But of course, if Will decides to report that, it is up to the stewards, it's not up to the commentators to make the decision on who's guilty or whether it's just a racing incident or not. But I'm sure Will is going to have to dig his heel into the sand and get his grind on and get right back up to the front. He's not a million miles off at the moment, and he's still within reach of Tomato, Golan and Chapelele at the moment, so he can still get a decent position in this race.
Yep, and just to think about this, Dan, Tomato and Will, both PSGL F2 champions, season 23 Will, season 24 was Tomato, and they're all the way down in 14th and 15th. That's not good. Meanwhile, Golan is trying to make the move into turn 1 past Chapelele, and he gets past him quite comfortably there as well. We got Tomato in the mix as well. He was hoping he was going to fight near the front of the field, but due to his troubles earlier on, he's being forced to go in 14th place, unfortunately, and they stay behind him for the time being. I'm going to see if Name Changer can get past Skivan into the next braking zone of turn 10 pretty soon. Not now, though. That's turn 7 and heading into turn 8, but it's going to be hard for Name Changer. You can see Big C is gaining quite a bit, and Imotti as well. Meanwhile, Chapelele gets past Tomato. I can't remember where that was. I think that was turn 8, and now into the heavy braking zone, still going side by side. They're fighting for dear Maya at the moment. Tomato on fresher tyres, so that's probably going to work wonders better for him than Chapelele can. But Chapelele has to concede that, unfortunately, and stay in 14th. Tomato is up to 13th. He's chasing down Golan now. It's going to be a tough task, though, because Golan is on 2 lap-old tyres, where Tomato is on 6. But we'll have to wait and see. Anything can happen in Formula 1.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that one. It looks like Hadler's coming to the pits, and so is Skivan. What about Big C? He's going to stay out one more lap, it seems. And if Imotti can get him here, and he's actually going to go for him there. Oh, I'm losing track of my words at the moment, but Iamotti on the inside of Big C. Now that just leaves clear, fresh air between Name Changer and Iamotti. We could have a nice fight for the win come the end of the race, because now the gap is just over a second between Name Changer and Iamotti. Drivers we haven't really seen fighting for a win, but of course anything can happen. And meanwhile, further back behind, Pat and Bugatti going side by side. Pat getting a little bit forced off there, and oh, there's a little bit of contact. Pat's trying to stick his nose at a place where he really should have just given up the position, and they've both lost time in all of that. And I think Lakitu's going to switch it to the inside on his fellow countryman, because now coming through turn number 8, they're still going to run side by side on exit here. Pat on the inside for turn number 9 and turn number 7. They're still going to run side by side. There's a little bit of contact, big lock up coming out from Pat, and it looks like Lakitu's made the move stick, and Pat losing 2 positions in just a matter of 1 sector.
Yeah, Pat losing quite a bit there, as Lakitu was doing very well to try and fend off there. He could be on for a shot for P4 or potentially P3 as well, as he's catching up to Bugatti as well. This could be intense. Now, don't forget, Bugatti and Big C are teammates. Big C is probably going to get his team orders in place and try and hold up Lakitu potentially as well, or potentially try and hold up these guys, as Bugatti had a bit of a slide there. This has gained more time on Lakitu. Lakitu's now up into 5th. Big C, I think, probably is going to try and hold up Lakitu in the expense of Bugatti. That's probably why he's staying out. We don't know, but it's nice that they are working together, of course. Obviously, Big C and Bugatti, really, really big, good friends in the league racing world, of course. Known each other for quite a long time, but here we go, Lakitu now going for the one past Big C, but he can't get past the traffic. Almost had a bit of a spin with a lockup. We can see Bugatti in the background trying to get past Pat, but he can't do it either. So Pat is back up into 6th. He wants that P6 badly. We can see lockups, but that's not going to affect too much. We've got Dario in the fight as well. I did say that towards the end of the Grand Prix, the last third is going to get interesting. Boy, I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, well, Bugatti had a little bit of a slide coming out of turn number 4, and that really did compromise him there, made him lose the position to Pat, and now he could be at the mercy of Dario. It looks like Bugatti's going to hold to the inside, and Dario can try hold him around the outside here, but he just can't find a way through. It's not the best overtaking opportunity around the outside through there, and he just can't get past the Mercedes driver, who seemingly is beginning to struggle at the moment, but he is still right on his tail. 2.5 tenths is the gap at the moment. What about Lakitu and Big C? Because this is going to be crucial if Lakitu wants anything more than just P3 at the moment, which he could be on for if he can find a way past Big C and then catch up to the guys ahead, because now on the DRS straight, here they are now. It should be an easy, well-worked move for Lakitu. Slipstream, no overtake needed. DRS, and he's trying to hold it right to the inside, Big C there, but it's not enough. Lakitu's going to sail by, and Big C now just has to turn his attention to his teammate behind, who's actually losing the position to Dario at the moment. It really is all kicking off here, Jess.
Yeah, this is very, very exciting. Bring it on. We got Cedric in this battle as well, potentially going to try and get some points. And Dario with the late launch. Bugatti and Dario made contact. That is not good. A bit of a shame there. I think both of them might have had damage in any way. And Cedric goes, thank you very much. You both made that mistake. That's position for me. And that's really, really going to help Cedric in this fight for P7. But for Dario, this has gone from good to bad to worse. He would have wanted to win this race. He's had he's had one win in in Italy. And that was it. And the closer he got to a win was P3 in China and P3 in Spain, where I think it was his second race in the league. So Dario's got a lot of work to make up, unfortunately. But I think it's one of those races where if you start on pole, you don't win the race. But that is a commonality in Bahrain PSGL. It has happened before. Remember what we discussed earlier, but CC Brain, speaking of the Ferraris, he's off into the pits. The final driver to pit, I believe, for a scheduled stop and on the soft compounded tyres. I wonder where he's going to end up out all of this, as we can see Lakitu, Pat, Cedric, Dario, and maybe Chapolini, Gonan, Tomato, Bugatti. So he's going to be outside the top 10, unfortunately, but he's going to be incredibly quicker than his rivals. So he's going to try and get some great moves on these guys, as Dario has got a 3-second time penalty due to multiple warnings. That's a bit of a shame. We haven't seen many penalties, have we? I think the only penalties we've seen is a few 3 seconds and a few speeding in the pit lanes. Not a lot, though. Or am I just been concentrating on the action too much?
No, I actually do think they've kept it relatively clean this Grand Prix, but of course a big talking point in the Twitter chat will be the incident that has just occurred between Bugatti and Dario, and what I actually noticed was that Dario was a bit too focused on trying to get past Bugatti, and he actually didn't realise that the proximity arrows to Cedric were red, so he actually chopped across Cedric there. Luckily Cedric didn't get any damage from it, but unfortunately for Dario, he clipped him and then kind of sent him into a bit of a half spin and into Bugatti. From that's at least what I saw, and luckily no one came off too badly. No one got any terminal damage, but of course Bugatti won't be happy about that one. I just think Dario might have been at fault there.
Yeah, I don't know, but again, like we said earlier, it's not up to us as commentators, it's up to the stewards to see what they think of it as well. They get the POVs of the drivers. Well, they asked the POV of the drivers anyway, but Dario, surprise, he's not really a surprise, really. He's off into the pits to change his front wing. Meanwhile, Chapelele was got passed by Tomato in a 2-6 place, but Chapelele has got DRS on him, though, so it is not over for Chapelele. Chapelele's made a really good comeback. Don't forget, he started last on the grid. Well, he wasn't meant to start last on the grid, but he started last on the grid anyway, and he is all the way up into P7, so he's still going to get some points anyway, but I think he would have liked to fight for the win. I wonder if he was starting in P2. I wonder what his pace would have been like.
Yeah, he's absolutely done really well today, because, you know, coming from the back of the grid is not an easy task, and he's worked that really well. He's worked it to his advantage, of course, and now he finds himself in a pretty precarious situation at the moment. He could be in for a great position if he can get past Tomato, but of course he's going to have the pressure from Gonanen behind, who also started a little bit down the order in 11th, that is, so he really was in the prime position, of course, and now CC Brain and Bugatti. Yeah.
CC Brain going for the risky move. Wow. That was brilliant from CC Brain. Now, CC Brain is known for going for risky moves on the alternate strategy. Remember when he did it? Japan, and he won the race, but he could be on for some points here. I don't think he'll be expecting points today, but he'll get points nonetheless, and he's on for an extra point if he gets the fastest lap as well. Here comes CC Brain on Will again. He can get P9 in all of this as well. He's not that far behind Gonanen, and even he's not even far behind any of these guys so far, so watch out for the Ferrari prancing horse, I've got to say. Don't forget, the performance patch have downgraded for Ferrari engine, but not in this type of set, and these are all equal cars, so... But see, it's showing that the Ferraris is not as bad as it seemed. Gonanen's still having a great battle as well. We do have a yellow flag, which I don't know what it is. That's Dario somewhere, I think. I think Dario drops position. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but yeah, that was a weird way to cause a yellow flag, I've got to say. But yeah, still some great battles going on. CC Brain could be on shot for a top 5, even a top 3.
Yeah, no, CC Brain's in a really good position at the moment. I'm kind of thinking that top 3 is a little bit out of his reach, considering he's still got to get by all of these cars, and his tires won't last forever. But meanwhile, he's going to take anything he can get, because now at the inside of Gonanen is another one kind of ticks off of his hit list. And now he's got Chapelele up ahead of him, of course. Both these two German, which does make up quite a lot of the F2 grid, I have noticed. A lot of German drivers coming out in full force, and they've done really well. Of course, in Japan, they got an all-German podium, but now they're going to be a little bit more against each other rather than working together, because CC Brain has got Chapelele just up ahead of him, then Tomato, then Cedric and Patton is a little bit of a gap up towards Lakitu, but meanwhile, 4th place at the moment. Cedric's got a really good run on Pat here. Now looking up the inside of turn number 1, it seems to be a textbook move for Cedric, but Pat's not going to give it up too easy, as now he's actually going to hold him, and he's got the inside line for the next corner, so really nice bit of defensive driving from Pat there. But again, the DRS goes in the way of Cedric. He can send it a move. If he just breaks a little bit later, he's going to have a half look. He can't find a way through him. Meanwhile, CC Brain gets past Pat's teammate for tonight.
Wow, that is insane, I've got to say, from CC Brain. Another one off his hit list. And next is Tomato. Yellow flag set to 3. That is Dario. He's out the race. He's retired in the pit lane. He's had enough, which I don't blame him. Yeah, I mean, he could have been on for a win today or even a podium, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. But he's got to concentrate on Canada, of course, which is next week.
Yeah, well, both Alfa Romeo drivers now out of the Grand Prix, and meanwhile, CC Brain has already caught right up to the back of Tomato, and I think when it's not going to be too long until we see him charging at him, and I believe we've got Greeny LFC in the pit lane. Hopefully, that's not him retiring from the race. No, he's just changing his tyres. He's going to go for a fastest lap because why the hell not?
He wants to see if he can try and get the fastest lap off his teammate. That is teammate rivalry, you see, Dan. Oh, as Bugatti's gone off. Bugatti's gone off. But the most important battle we are seeing is a battle for 4th place in this race. I think the top 3 is a bit hard, but maybe even the top 4 will be not too. It's not impossible for him right now as CC Brain's cut past Tomato up into P6. He's got the DRS to pass Cedric and Pat Schneider maybe for position. We've got another yellow flag as well in turn 1. Not quite sure who that is. I think that's Greeny, one of the Ferraris. But CC Brain goes for a last minute dive. Almost a bit of a slide there. Can he keep the car under control? Please do not go double file around here. They don't. CC Brain, that's another position ticked. And he's got a few more to go. His next one is Pat for P4. My oh my, he is on an absolute roll right now. Don't forget, I'm just looking at the deltas between the two different tyres. The soft is around about 0.5, well, the medium's 0.5 seconds slower. The hard's 0.8, so not a lot, but though that amount of difference could make a difference to for these drivers. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. CC Brain is going to try and take as many risks as he possibly can. All this battling is allowing Lakitu to try and keep his podium hopes alive, which is going to be, I think, inevitable, pretty soon. But here comes CC Brain with a little bit of a lock up there. But yeah, I think CC Brain is going to try and get past. But Pat is not going to try and let him take this that easy. But CC Brain goes to the right-hand side here. He wants as many points as he possibly can. And there we go, CC Brain up into P4. What about Cedric and Pat and Tomato? Well, we got Tomato and Cedric. Oh, and they surged. Cedric has spun off for what would have been really good points for Cedric. He's now on course to be getting no points once again. That was very, very unlucky and very, very heartbreaking for Cedric.
Yeah, he's had such a brilliant race so far, and it's just really all been completely undone for him. So unfortunate for him, but at the moment, looking further up ahead, look who we've got right up to the rear of Lakitu already.
What?
It is CC Brain, of course, the man on a mission. He's running wild in this F2 grid, and now opening the DRS, he got a little bit too far back to make a move into turn number 10 or 11, I believe this is. We got a yellow flag through sector 1. That is Bugatti retiring from the race. Benny has actually come for a set of softs, I believe. He's going to go for fastest lap, not going to retire early, which is good to see from him. And a bit of a mistake from Lakitu actually kind of opens the door for CC Brain. He could get him in an unconventional situation to actually make the overtake, because now sucking into the slipstream of Lakitu. He's going to look to the right-hand side. No, he's not going to go through here. It's a bit of a faster corner than some of the others at the end of the DRS straight, but this is going to be his best opportunity. So he's just got to take it. A podium is on the cards for CC Brain. You can see the overspeed that Ferrari car has got, and he is into P3, and Lakitu can do absolutely nothing about that. Meanwhile, back behind, Tomato on a bit of a recovery mission today after he got held up. He actually couldn't pit because of his teammate. He's done really well there, and now we've got more yellow flags, and unfortunately that's Greeny retiring in the pit lane.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. So I think the Bahrain curse for Greeny, lives on. Sadly, unfortunately. He balled the win last season and he's retired this season, so I think I shouldn't say anything more. Sorry, Greeny, for mentioning that thing earlier. You shouldn't have said it. I think, was he that actually, no, it was his teammate CC Brain that said it. And CC Brain's on course for podium, so CC Brain can thank me later for saying it, but I think it might be a bit bittersweet for him. 4.6 seconds is the gap between himself and Emotti. That's going to be tough to catch up in a few laps time, because the lifespan on these soft tyres is 10 laps, and it's going to be 9 laps when we come across the checkered flag. So yeah, it's going to be tough for CC Brain to find the delta that he needs, but you never know with penalties. We're not going to spoil penalties too much. We're going to wait until a little bit of a surprise, I think.
Yeah, well, regardless, CC Brain's going to be absolutely chuffed with his performance. He's made up 10 positions off the start on that alternate strategy. It's worked an absolute treat for him, coming all the way up from 13th, now into second. But look at the gap between the leaders. 4/10 of a second. We could have a last-minute fight between Name Changer and Iamotti.
This is what we like to see. I would like to see last lap battles. We saw it in Monza almost with Lakitu, and I can't remember who was in the battle for the win there. I will need to double check that. That was Dario, yes, Dario and Lakitu for P1 and P2. And we will be able to actually no, it was for I think it was a different race. I think where Lakitu's would be in the Carlos Sainz, but I don't know. But he was close to it anyway. But I think we're going to see. I think Amotti's in a better position because he's got the DRS. As long as he can catch up just by a few attempts, he should be absolutely fine. What Name Changer's got to do is make sure he's got enough ERS, which he does not. Make sure he has enough fuel, and he should be absolutely fine. And Motti has got more ERS than him, so if he does go into the lead, he could use it to defend more than Name Changer does. So I think Motti has got more of a chance to possibly get Name Changer, but Name Changer has got to do some miraculous defending. You never know. Name Changer wants this win, and it'll be great to see him win the race by some great defending, I've got to say.
Yeah, back behind, Tomato manages to get past Lakitu, who seemingly is struggling just a little bit on these slightly older hard tyres than Tomato. But meanwhile, up at the front, he's not close enough, Iamotti, to make the move into turn number 1. But now he is right up the rear of Name Changer for the lead of the Grand Prix. But more drivers making moves.
Oh,
Will is out of
out.
the race, and he's actually crushed that. I think he might have had contact with, I believe it was Hadley he was fighting, because now he's in the wall.
Oh, that is really, really sad. Unfortunately, I didn't quite catch that. Let me go on board with... Oh, yes, I went on board with Faz. That looks awful. And that's, unfortunately, another retirement for the Bahrain Grand Prix, sadly. And another victim for Will, really. That is a bit of a shame there. But, yeah, I thought, looking at the track map on the right-hand side of your screen, it was retirement in the pit lane. But no, it's a retirement in the wall there. If it was a few laps ago, safety car, definitely. But due to the fact there's 1 lap to go after this one, there's no point. So it's every man for themselves right now. And we've got one person that could stop any of these two getting the win here. You can never guess who it is. It's CC Brain. He's within a DRS range of Emotti right now. This can get spicy. Grab your popcorn, bring it on. We're not just 2 cars fighting for the win. We've got 3 cars fighting for the win.
Unfortunately, I haven't got any popcorn with me, and
me neither, but who cares?
I won't be eating it because I've got to commentate. But you know what? I'm not gonna let that affect my mood in this final battle, because now it is the last lap of the Grand Prix, and it is 3.5 tenths separating Iamotti and Name Changer. An outside hope for CC Brent at this point, but he is in the DRS range of the 2 in front of him, and a bit of an oversteering moment from CC Brain, pretty much going to kill any momentum that he might have had against them, and that could have been his unravelling of the race. But further back behind, Lakitu trying to swing by Tomato. He has to go to the outside line as the Williams car holds him to the right-hand side, and it was a good bit of defensive driving there from Lakitu because he's held him really well. Gonanen, though, could also be an outside shot for P4 because he's on fresher hard tyres and could be in a great position here on the last lap of the Grand Prix.
Don't jinx things, Dan, because we know we said good things about Gonanen at one point, and he binned it. And this time he had a bit of a lock up there, and he's got past it. But look at Lakitu; he's coming back like no tomorrow as well. I don't know what to watch. Either the battle for the win or the battle for 4th place. It's just so many battles happening at once. But Lakitu has dropped 2 positions. What a shame for him. And he's had a spin. And he's had contact with Chapeluli as well. That is his hard work pretty much undone. But let's drop the battle between 1st and 3rd place. Name Changer could be on course for the win, but Emotti, I think that slide might have costed him there. But CC Brain could go on course to be 2nd place. They're going side by side. CC Brain takes 2nd due to penalties. Name Changer takes his 1st win of the season. I'm sure he'll be very, very happy about that. We have got a Williams 3-4. That is going to help the Renault, Williams in the constructors. Renault, no points this weekend due to Lakitu's mistake. That could cost them in the long run. That's going to help Williams extend it by quite a bit. And we're seeing unserved penalties there as well. Shapalili goes into 9th place. Pat with another good performance in 7th. Golonen gets his best result. He was on, I think he was on 1 point before this race. He's going to be on much more than that after tonight. So well done to Golonen, well done to Hadler. Pretty much well done to the top 10. Skivan with 8th place after starting 19th. There has been some very strong performances on this grid. But I have to say, name change of one of the drivers of the day, and CC Brain as well. No penalties, I don't think, and him being on the hard to soft strategy, I think it just goes to show that strategy, if you put your mind to it, it's OP.
Yeah, really, it just helps you so much. But even though Renault aren't getting any points, Ferrari are actually going to jump them in this one because they were only 1 point back, and now 12 points being added to their tally will put them ahead by 9 points ahead of their rival. Oh, sorry, not 9 points, 11 points. Oh, is it? It is 11 points ahead of Renault. So, yeah, I think Williams might be out of reach for these guys, and they might start turning their attention to the fight for staying in second rather than chasing down the championship leaders.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, it's a foregone conclusion, to be honest, about Williams winning the Constructors. But you never know. You never know. We've seen Tomato falter, but we've seen for the first time in a while Emotti managing to pick up the pieces and do very, very well. But Tomato not that far behind either, about a second as well. But just look at the gap between first and second. 0.6 of a second. I think both of them had no penalties, which was absolutely insane at the moment. So, and I do believe Emotti had a 5-second penalty. That was why he was down in 3rd place by the looks of things. So we've got name changer, CC Brain, then we've got Emotti in 3rd, Tomato 4th, Hadler 5th, Golonen in 6th, then we got Pat in 7th, Skivan, Shapalili and Big C rounds up your last point. And we got Faz, Hikitu, Cedric, Benny and Luke being your last finishers. And your non-finishers tonight, there's 5 of them: Will, Bugatti, Greeny, Dario and Compassion. What a race it has been, and what a final third of the race it has been for this race as well. I told you that it was going to get competitive, and I had a little bit of an inkling that CC Bray was going to get top 3. He did it better. He got top 2.
Yeah, he did really, really well. Can't really say the same thing for his team, unfortunately. There's a little bit of an argument going on in the Twitter chat at the moment between him and one of the podium sitters, Iamotti. And Iamotti saying that it was lag, but I think it was because of the lap 1 incident that they might have had together, and that pretty much ruined his race entirely. And unfortunately, one other thing we do have to mention, Luke spends another race outside of the points, and so he's just going to have to wait at least 1 more week. I don't want to lose hope on him, but I hope he just gets a point.
I really do hope he gets a point at some point, just please. It's like watching real life F1 and seeing the 2 Williams cars not getting points yet. It is like that in F2, but with Luke. So Luke, if you're watching this, don't give up hope, by the way. And I'm just, before we actually end the stream, Name Changer actually said how much tyre wear he had when he crossed the line. And I could not believe it when I say 86%.
Oh.
That is insane. Shapalili had 84, but he had a puncher. So maybe Name Changer's setup was more inclined for tyre wear, but that was insane, I've got to say. And the reason why Lakitu slowed down on the final few laps was he got a puncher. So that basically ruined Lakitu's race. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame. So punchers ruined quite a few people's races on the final lap. But tyre wear is a killer around this track.
Yeah, and that is pretty prominent. But another track that we might not actually see the ultimate strategy, of course, is next week when we head to Canada. I'm really excited. It's probably going to be a 2-stop next week, soft, medium, medium. That's what I'm expecting. So I think we might actually see a nice fight for pole position next week. Yeah,
I think so as well. And I like Canada due to the fact that it's 2-stop and due to the fact that I think everyone could go on the soft tyres, and it's known for changeable conditions, but I won't say anything more. Thank you guys so much for watching PSGL F2 tonight around Bahrain. It was an absolute classic. We hope to see you next week. I've been Jess, Games95, and thank you, Dan, for joining me in the commentary box as per usual.
Yeah, it was brilliant to come back once again this week and have a brilliant race and commentary with you.
And make sure you join us for some more PSGL action tonight. We got the F1 and the F3 races happening right now. They're just about to finish qualifying, so make sure you check those races out. It should be an absolute classic as well. We'll see you next week for the Canadian Grand Prix. Have a good evening, everybody, and goodbye.